Hello everyone, welcome back to A Nigerian Man's Perspective. Today is day 7. Man, it's been a week since the protest started, End Bad Governance protest started in Nigeria. Welcome back to my channel.
President Bola Tinubu and the Nigerian military are concerned over the increasing Russian influence in the country as Moscow's clout grows in West Africa. In the latest, Nigeria's military chief held security talks with President Tinubu after Russian flags were waved and slogans favoring Russian President Putin were raised at anti-government protests in Nigeria's northern states. Nigeria's military chief has termed the act treasonous to the country's sovereignty.
We don't have a leader, we are the leaders. Now we don't have a leader, someone is asking who gave us this flag. We sewed it ourselves. We don't like Tinubu. Tinubu must go. We want soldiers.
All of us have seen it, where some foreign flags have been flown within the sovereignty of Nigeria, and that is totally unacceptable. We are warning in clear terms, and the president has also said we should convey this, that we will not accept anybody, any individual flying any foreign flag in Nigeria. That is treasonable offense, and it will be viewed and treated as such. For those of them flying flags, if you see a lot of them are kids being pushed to do that. We're following up with those ones that are sponsoring them, those that are pushing them, because you know the flags were also made. We identified those areas and we're going to take serious action against that.
A video, my last video was actually touching a bit on this particular issue. Now, I have questions, and I want you guys to comment on this down below as well. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe and please like this video. Anyway, back to the story. Who is sponsoring these flags? I understand these flags were made, a couple of tailors in Kano State in Nigeria sold these Russian flags. Why Russia? Why Russia? Does it have anything to do with the Niger Republic protest as well? Because theirs is different. So does it have anything to do with that? Russian government has already come out, and the Russian embassy in Nigeria has already come out to say, no, be also, we're not involved, though. Do not lump us into your issues, which is the fair thing to do. As to treason, I don't know what the law actually says, if this is treasonable. But obviously you can see where the army is coming from, that if this spirals out of control, people could, misinterpret that for Nigerians calling Russia to come to their aid. But Russia has already come out to say, this is not the case. Yes, Russian influence is growing in Africa. No question about it. In a few countries, Russia has been getting closer to them in terms of trade and having various partnerships in certain areas of the economy, weapons, military, and other partnerships. As to whether that's the case going on with this particular protest, I don't think so. But let's keep watching.
Now, Nigeria has arrested some tailors who allegedly made the Russian flags and also who the authorities call sponsors of foreign flags. Nigeria's Department of State Services is investigating the matter. It did not say how many tailors or...
So I just wanted to add, I've never seen a protest where Nigerians either fly the Nigerian flag. I've not even seen the Nigerian flag on this protest. Has anybody seen the Nigerian flag? Okay, well, yeah, a few people do fly the Nigerian flag, to be fair. But this is the first time I'm seeing another country's flag in a protest of late. Maybe back in the day. If anybody knows if it's happened back in the day, please put it in the comment section. I found it quite laughable when it started, but I'm seeing the number of people doing it. They actually believe in this ideology that by raising the Russian flag, it's sending a certain message. Really?
Or sponsors had been detained. Russian embassy in Nigeria has already distanced itself from allegations that it is influencing the demonstrations in Nigeria. It denied responsibility, saying that the flags are personal choices of protesters and do not reflect any official position or policy of the Russian government. Pro-Russian sentiments have been growing in parts of West Africa. The junta-ruled states in the region, Mali, Burkina Faso and Niger, have already opened doors to Moscow for security partnership, severing ties with the West. Now the Nigerian government fears this influence in the region could spread in the country amid rising discontent among the people. On the 1st of August, Nigerian citizens launched the 10-day End Bad Governance protest against economic hardship and systematic corruption. These protests have mostly been led by the youth. The protesters have been calling on President Bola Tinubu to step down. The cost of living crisis in the West African country has been fueled by surging inflation, which is at a 28-year high. President Tinubu's economic policies have also pushed the local currency to record lows. According to rights groups, the protests have left at least 13 people dead nationwide. But the Nigerian police insist that only 7 died. Over 700 people, including journalists, have been arrested by the Nigerian military, and a curfew has been declared in at least 6 states in North Nigeria after reports of looting and violence. Nigerian security forces have been accused of using excessive force in the protests, and this seems to have dampened the protests. Few protesters showed up to mark the 6th day of protest. The protesters blamed this on fear of policemen who have outnumbered civilians.
People are afraid. They are afraid of the military personnel seen on ground. I guess a lot of protesters are still hanging out here. But me, I'm out here, I'm standing here, I'm here to pray. It's my right. It's my civic right. I'm here. And I've not ever received one dividend of democracy ever since I've gotten to know myself as a man in this country. And it's not done.
Despite President Tinubu's call for dialogue and suspension of the protests, Nigerians say he failed to address any of their demands. So they vow to continue protesting. But now the Nigerian government and the military stare at a bigger potential threat of Russian influence. Now for more on this, we have with us Chidi Ugwu, a professor at the University of Nigeria in Nsukka, and he joins us live from Nsukka in Nigeria. Thank you for being with us, Professor. I'll jump right in. Nigeria's military chief held a security meeting with President Bola Tinubu after the Russian flags were waved at the protests. What details do you have about this meeting and also about the so-called sponsors who were involved in promoting the Russian flags during the demonstrations?
Okay, thank you very much for having me. I'll be lying to you if I say I have details of the security meeting that the president held with his security chiefs. Some of the briefs will be state secrets that they will guard. But what looks concerning to the president, if you ask me, is that the Russia influence of Russia lurking somewhere in the nearby country, Niger. I don't know how much you follow that story. Niger Republic and Mali and Burkina Faso. When they revolted, there was a coup which was revolt against the influence of the French in those countries, and because they were resisting, and France was mobilizing. Sponsoring all sorts of counter coups and mobilizing to stage a comeback. It was Russia that these countries beckoned to come and help them push back against the French. So it looks like the success of that coup, that the coup leaders had not been replaced, is largely due to the influence of USSR, of Russia in that place. So, and it looks like the people who are waving the flags are coming members of a particular section of Nigeria that borders Niger. From northern Nigeria, then you go to Niger Republic. From there, you step into other countries like Libya, and so it looks like they are drawing some vicarious inspiration from what has happened in that country. And because the news coming out of Niger and those areas look very cheering. Since they regained their freedom and pushed back against the French with the influence of Russia, it looks like the fortunes of those countries are beginning to turn around. And it looks like that's the kind of dream that these people are trying to pass across with the flag. Since the Russian authorities have denied this,
Right.
it will be difficult for anyone to claim that Russia has a hand in this. But what I think the message they want to pass,
Right. Okay.
what this
Yeah.
says is two things. Two things. One is people are trying to draw inspiration from what Russia has done in neighboring countries, and secondly, to let Tinubu, the president, know that Nigeria is not alone. If he doesn't act carefully, that it is possible for what happened in those countries to happen in Nigeria, real or imagined. But this flag.
Yeah, shout out to First Post, and shout out to the professor in the University of Nigeria, Nsukka, who's brilliantly explained some of the thinking that might have gone behind the people, if not the people that are on the street, the people sponsoring them, if indeed they were sponsored. Because Nigeria and Niger do share a border, and he's explained what happened in Niger, and that is sort of like explaining. I'm coming around to that, to understanding why that part of the country and where the borders are quite porous between both countries. So it's starting to make sense to me now. So I mean, great work. So I'm going to leave this one here. Please subscribe to my channel, like this video, share this to as many people as possible, and I'll see you in the next one.